Welcome to NuWu Sessions, where we invite guests from different corners of the Vegas cannabis industry. We sit down to share a VIP table package in Nevada's very first cannabis consumption lounge, only here in the Vegas Tasting Room. Come check us out.
What up, NuWu fam? On today's episode, we have both the Director of Manufacturing and the Marketing Manager behind Rove Brands, Marroquin and Monique Ridgeway. Watch as we discuss their backgrounds in the cannabis industry, all while indulging in some tasty Rove products. It's only here on the NuWu Sessions Podcast, so let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the NuWu Sessions Podcast. I'm your host, Tom. I don't got my boy DJ today. I'm rolling solo, but it's all good because I got a couple of my friends here. I got Miss Mo, and I got Chris from Rove. Thanks for being on the podcast, guys.
Tom, I appreciate you having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
This is going to be a great time. I've known you guys both for years, industry vets, right? I've been doing this for a while, so it's cool to have a circle of my friends here. We're going to smoke a lot of good weed. We got some Rove products and some things we want to dive into, but probably before that, let's talk about you guys and what we were doing before weed. Whoever wants to take the lead here.
So before cannabis, I was a makeup artist for many years. I was a cosmetologist, but I specialized in makeup. And honestly, that industry, everybody was smoking weed, you know? Kind of everywhere I've ever been around, there's always been people heavily smoking weed. So The transition from the makeup artist world to the cannabis world was really just a different financial mindset. It was these people are so different, or are they going to accept me in this industry? It was a judgment-free zone, just like cosmetology, where you still have your creative freedom. But for me, it was a totally different world, because prior to that, that's all I ever did was, cash in hand jobs. And This is like a you're not selling weed and getting a $20 bill. You're this is like corporate.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
It was like a whole new world to me. And that was about 7 years ago. We're about to hit 7 years in. So
wow, 7 years. That's awesome.
And I won't touch a makeup brush now for someone else. It's only on me.
There you go. We're past that. That's cool. Well, hell yeah. Good for you. And what about you, Chris?
Yeah, well, for me, cannabis has always been a part of my life, really. But before joining the industry here, the medical and then rec industry here in Nevada, I was in the nightclub industry for about 8 years. Also was helping my sister build her Garden Grill restaurant, her brand, that we also have here in Vegas. So nightclubs, really. And then because of that, I really only worked about 3 days a week, and that really helped me develop kind of my cannabis skills. I had time and resources to be able to dive into it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when did cannabis first get introduced in your life?
Yeah, for me, it was early on. It was in high school. My friend grew cannabis back then, and I was just fascinated by the whole aspect of it, just the growing, the effects of it, the taboo of it being illegal, everything about it. But really, I didn't start consuming it as much until I was about 20, 21.
Gotcha. What about you, Mo?
Well, I grew up in Cali, and I was 12 years old, and this gentleman passed me. I was hanging out with some older kids, of course, because that's what you do in Cali when you're young and crazy, I guess. But I was hanging out with some older kids, and this guy handed me a pipe, and he said, "It's cherried." And I said, "I love cherries," and just hit it. I don't even think I used the carb. I literally was like, cherries. He said, "It's cherried. It's ready for you to hit it. It's still lit." And I took that as, cherries. And that's how easily I fell in love with cannabis.
The rest is history, right?
Yeah, exactly. After that, I was like, "Hey, bro."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel it. I started pretty young myself. I was literally just saying on our last one about how I had to be 14 years old. I was smoking with some of my friends, and you know how a lot of people say you don't get high the first time?
Yeah.
I was one of those. I remember we smoked weed, and I'm there with my boys. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not high.
Right.
I'm not high. But it was a rainy night, and I remember looking at the raindrops on a windshield, and I was like, I think I'm going to lick that windshield. I was you're saying you're not high, you're talking about licking fucking windshields? What are you talking about, dude? You're blazed. Just go home. Call it a night.
I had similar first few times, really didn't really feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I did feel something, it was honestly an out-of-body experience. I saw myself from 10 feet away. I was on the phone with my buddy who had given me the joint that I was smoking at the time, and I'm telling him, I'm like, I'm halfway through it. I'm like, I'm not really feeling anything. All of a sudden, I'm looking at myself from about 10 feet away, smoking the joint on the telephone. when I realized that I was looking at myself, it's like I snapped right back in, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm high.
That's funny. That's too funny. Especially because you said out-of-body experience. I got to share this one now, too, because there was a time my boy Chris here gave me some chocolate-covered pretzels. And he warned me. He's like, they're probably like 20 milligrams of pretzel. And at the time, I was facing 100 milligrams a day just because that's what I was on. And so I faced several pretzels thinking like, I got this.
I'll be good.
Yeah, you know. But I had an out-of-body experience where I was watching myself bud tend. And I was like, I'm fucking killing it right now. Like, I don't know how I'm doing this because I'm clearly high enough to be seeing myself in third person.
I love this.
But, man, shout out to Chris's pretzels.
It seems like and with something like that, it seems like you're on autopilot. You're just moving, breathing, everything, but your consciousness is just...
That was exactly it. That's why I was like, I'm killing it. I've been bud tending too long. Like, look, I'm having an out-of-body experience watching myself bud tend, but I still got this, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's cool, though. That was cool. You know, that's probably... That's why I don't dabble with edibles too much these days, you know? I've got shit to do, but, you know, that's cool. So what inspired you guys to pursue a career in the cannabis industry, and how'd you get started?
Yeah.
Whoever wants to start with that one.
As far as cannabis, you know, I've always been fascinated, you know, I growing it, extracting its essential oils, extracting, you know, the THC out of it, making hash capsules, anything. All forms of cannabis has always interested me. For a while there, before it was legal here in Nevada, there was dispensaries that would pop up and, you know, get shut down. I would supply them with clones and then also hash capsules that I would make, MCT hash capsules that I would use emulsifiers in, so they would be, you know, really potent for, they would be very discernibly potent for the potency that it was because of the bioavailability of it. You know, so just with that, when an opportunity came up to join the industry, you know, I quickly took it. That was in 2017 when Rove was just getting started out. They were starting to build their team out. And a good friend of mine, Scotty Barnett, opened the door for me to be able to join the team. At that time, it was just 3 employees. And yeah, the rest is history.
He was in the nightclub industry too, right? Is that how you guys know each other? Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we had known each other for...
Nice.
Yeah, at least 10 years before that.
So that's wild. That's cool. Scotty B and the Roves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's I remember Carl always saying that, you know. So now when I see Scotty B, I'm like, Scotty B and the Roves, you know?
Yep, that's us. The
Hell
Roves.
yeah. That's cool because I remember meeting you back in 2017 and like we were saying before the show, seeing how the team's grown and just seeing all that you guys have been able to accomplish in that time. Just shout out to you guys, still grinding, still crushing it.
That, how the industry's evolved, how we've evolved professionally and personally, absolutely.
Absolutely, man.
It's so satisfying and grateful to see it.
Shout out to legal weed. Hell yeah.
This industry is so full of instant gratification, and I think that's why I can't go anywhere. You guys were just talking about your experiences with weed and out of body, and I'm like fascinated because like I have never had like an experience with weed that made me think like, whoa, what's going on? You know what I mean? Yep. Maybe with RSO. I got really big into RSO when I first got into the cannabis industry, and I think that was like what I fell in love with and started to study right away. And I was like, wow, this is something that actually can help people majorly, you know?
Absolutely.
The only thing that can cause apoptosis of a cancer cell, you know, the death of the cancer cell is over 55% RSO. So,
hell yeah.
And that does take, you know, a lot of time to kind of work through like that big, I feel like when you're studying cannabis, it's so like wordy, you know, and you got to really break that shit down. And I love the challenge. So again, I think that's really like going from being a makeup artist to being in the cannabis industry. There was times when I was like, man, I really should probably just go back to makeup just for like that, I guess, cash in hand again, you know, because it's so much easier. But this and adapting to this has been a challenge, and I love the challenge. And I know cannabis has always also been something that like not everybody loves, you know. Some people are like, you do what, you know? I remember the first time I went to go pick my daughter up from school and a pre-roll thing dropped out of my pocket when I picked her up, and I was like, yo, she's gonna get banned from school, like they're gonna call CPS, like, you know, I'm like paranoid. But I really love the challenge. I love the balance and the challenge in this industry. I love that it's ever changing, and I love that it keeps you on your toes.
Absolutely. Certainly does. As long as we've been doing the podcast now, like everyone we've met who's been in the industry and who's been entrenched in the industry for years always has to wear multiple hats. I think it's just par for the course. Like, oh, you want to be in cannabis? Cool. be comfortable being uncomfortable.
But
because
just
there's always
know,
going to be a curveball, you know?
In the industry I was in before, I wore all the hats as well, you
Yep.
know?
Yep.
Like,
It's
when you're
true.
a makeup artist, you're your own billboard of your own representation. You do your own marketing. You do all your own, you know, I did all my own stunts before. So it's kind of like, it's comfortable, but it's uncomfortable as hell at the same time.
Right.
And that's what I love.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like you know, prone and ready. It's like, cool, I already know how to do that. I can thrive in this industry. So
Right.
that's awesome.
I can
Yeah.
balance chaos.
Yeah. That's the name of the game. That's why we're all here, right? So,
Right.
so we're all avid users at home, right?
Absolutely.
What's a session at home look like for you guys when we're all bets off? This is how I'm getting myself high.
Yeah.
What's that look like?
Well, you know, for me, that definitely starts with dabs.
Yeah.
You know, of concentrate. Whether right now it's rosin. Before that it was live resin. I
Yep.
kind of have, you know, little spats of where I dab different things. You know,
Right.
and then right now it's the rosin. And for me, I start off with dabs and I transition into a pre-roll every single time.
Okay.
Or
I
not a
love
pre-roll,
that.
just
Yeah.
you know, either
Flower.
pre-roll or flower. Yeah, and the reason is. I'm a cougher, no matter what. You know,
Right.
like I'm a cougher. So what happens is with the joint, it really eases that coughing for me.
Right.
It like kind of, helps give that dab direction. So
There you go.
I like
And
it.
I love the combo of flower or of a dab and then flower
Yes,
taste in
right
your mouth
after.
right after.
Absolutely.
I love
I
that.
agree.
I will say a sesh for me typically starts when I wake up and then start my morning routine.
Right.
It's going to be dabs, of course. That's my first, you know, that's my cup of coffee in the morning is dabs. But I definitely do incorporate edibles throughout my entire day just so that, like you said earlier, the 100 milligrams a day kind of thing, I'm still rocking with that.
There you go.
Just for daily functionality. And it's great, you know. I usually start the day with a dab and then I'll go and make my smoothie and put 30 milligrams in there and then just kind of coast on that. Smoke some weed, of course, because now you got that flower.
There you go.
that
Got
you
the
need.
trifecta, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love it all, though. There's no cannabis form that I've tried that I'm like, I don't know if I would try that again.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. Especially, I mean, I like people who can do edibles every day, and my
Yeah.
tolerance isn't there. I was trying to do it this last week. I had a couple of podcasts where I was getting too high because I
Right.
took a week off because I got the flu bug.
Yep.
And then I'm like, man, I am getting stupid high on this podcast.
Your tolerance comes right back.
Yeah, and
Yes,
I was
it
telling
comes right
DJ, I'm
back.
like, dude, I'm smoking joints and dabs all weekend because I'm not doing this again next week, you know?
Right.
Started doing edibles in the mix. It gets me too tired personally. I do
Right.
think there's like a threshold. Like I felt the same way when I was started dabbing, like on the regularly, where I'm like, I could do a nap right now. That's fine.
I
And
remember
I'm
taking
not
dab
that
naps.
guy. Yeah, and
I remember taking dab naps.
and you cross the threshold, you're like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm fine.
And then you're good.
But
Yep.
edibles still do that to me. Like I was 3 days in edibles. I'm like, why have I slept so much? Oh, that's right.
I'm super hypersensitive to caffeine, so that
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is a
okay.
good thing for me because that really helps me balance out. You know, if
Hell
I
yeah.
have an
Yeah.
edible or if I start my day off a little early with some dabs, yeah, the coffee definitely balances it
There you
out.
go.
See, I'm super sensitive to caffeine too, but for what I do for Rove, the issue is if I overdo my caffeine, I'm shaky filming.
Oh, yeah.
And it's obvious, and people see it and they know, and they're like, "Yo, why are you shaking?" You
Yeah.
know, like
You need to dab some more so you can level out, right?
Yeah, I like how you say the Instagram name
I
handle
just,
in
you know,
the
I was like,
conversation.
oh, I got one. Let's go, right?
I love it. I love it.
Well, that's awesome. This is probably a good segue. Now that we've all talked about how we like to get high, maybe we should start getting high, right?
Oh, absolutely.
If my boy Chris could hook us up, bring us some of your products. I know we got a tray full of goodies powered by Rove. And what is it? We got the G Pen Hire device too, so we can do dabs. I'm sure people are wondering why we're just sitting here with dab rigs.
we're
Like,
absolutely ready
this
for
is the
that.
taste
We are
room
ready.
experience, you know? Like, if you don't got a dab rig next to you, what are you doing?
It's actually a beautiful vase.
Yeah, right? Thank you, Chris.
Oh, I love this.
Appreciate you, my guy.
I'm
Yeah,
a visionary. This is so
yeah,
gorgeous.
right? Yeah, that's the little Rove sign in the background, just highlighting everything.
Right.
But what is this? We have a few of the Featured Farms pre-rolls that you guys do. What are these? Looks like the Goat Piss. We got the Goat Piss infused pre-rolls. We got the Dosey-Wo Rove Diamonds. We got some Drink Loud. We got some flour, courtesy of Chris here. I don't even remember what kind we got here.
We got some lemon pastries as well.
Lemon pastries. That sounds fantastic. And we do
a
have
whole
your Rove
bakery.
Bellini cartridge here. We have all types of ways to get high. So that being said, how do you guys want to get started?
Dabs,
Yeah,
right?
dabs, absolutely. Let's go right
Let's
into
go
it.
right to the tabs.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That means I got to figure out this G Pen Hire device. Let's get that rocking.
Let's figure that one out. Should we light some joints while we figure that out, maybe?
We want to dig into some of these guys. Little 2-packs here. If I don't break everything, maybe.
I don't know if the nails are sharp enough to get. Oh, I did it. I did it.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
So while we dive into these, let's talk about how you guys came to work for Rove. How did that happen? And describe your current roles.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so it was 2017. 2017, Rove was just starting out. They had 2 employees and needed to start kind of building up their team. So they had reached out to Scotty, but again, Scotty was working nightclubs at the time and was under contract. So he still had about 3 months to fulfill his contract. So at the time, Scotty's like, listen, I can't do it right now, but, my buddy Chris, for sure, like, he's your man for it. So, after a meet, went out to our lab at the time, which is about 40 miles outside of town, near Love's truck stop over near Moapa.
Yep.
We went out there, met the owner, and we clicked. I took an offer there. I actually started as packager. I literally just wanted to get my foot in the door, show them what I could do.
That's awesome.
Within 3 months, I was lab manager, and then after that, Scotty came on, and we took off from there.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. And what about you, Ms. Mo?
So I was originally at Reef Dispensaries for 2.5 years. That was my first foot in the door in the cannabis industry after makeup. And then from there, I went to be a brand ambassador for 5 brands. So I was representing, I think that's when I met you, Tom, was coming over here and doing pop-ups with many different brands.
Yep.
And that was amazing. But then this fun thing called the pandemic happened. And there was a point there where it was like musical chairs in the industry.
Yep.
And fun fact, I actually came here and was guest bud tending for a week and a half. And before Jen walked in and said, hey, I'm at Rove. You should be at Rove. Come through. We would love to have you. Give me your resume. And sure enough, I sent in my resume. And that week, I did have to let y'all know that I had a great time, but I had to go where my heart was calling me. I've always liked to represent a solid brand. Like, there's people who want to be in, multiple stores, so they want to work with a brand. There's people who just want to work in one store, so they want to work with a dispensary. Like, I realized when working with multiple brands that I was the brand person. I want to put on a shirt and I am this person today. I am representing them, and everything I'm talking about is a good representation of them today. I just really like that experience. So 2.5 years now. No, it's like 2. Yeah, it's about 2 years now. Over 2 years that I've been with Rove, and I was a brand ambassador at first, and then a year in, I became the marketing manager. So here I am.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
I remember you at Reef. Like, I remember going in, and like, you always made such a, like, you had a presence about you. You were always like so energetic and like. I
had so much pride in that building.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely showed. Yeah.
For sure. Thank you. That means a lot. Because seriously, like, my thumbproint is there still, and I still see it in little places.
And the signature blue hair.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's all about the blue, right? Just like right here, we got the blue. So we asked what drink she says.
I got a magical refill too. Thank you guys.
That's awesome.
You're
Hell yeah, coming in clutch.
I always tell them, give me a little extra.
Yeah, right? It's like, you throw a few extra pumps. I heard this one might be stronger than normal. That's why I'm trying to tread lightly,
Oh, I'm trying to chug.
I don't think I'm going to have like an out-of-body experience on this podcast and do it as well. I don't think I was dialed in as I was the last time I had one of those. I will say,
having Chris and I on this is a great combo, because him and I have seshed before, and we smoke the same. Like, I was saying to Tom, I was like, we could split one of the drink louds easily. Like, if you don't want to, because a shot is like so small, so little,
Yeah, the drink loud. I do want to try this. I was just hesitant. I'm like, 100 milligrams at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Normally,
it's not a bad life.
Normally, I would say, listen,
it's not a bad life.
It's not bad. With these, I would say be careful. Like, I can easily do 500 milligrams, no big deal.
500.
No, honestly, it's fine. Like, in that, I think it's the delivery method of those 500 milligrams that's fine. It's not a big. Honestly, it's not.
Not too bad.
It's not too bad at all. But with these, if I drink a whole 100 milligram bottle, dude, it puts me out. Like, honestly, it puts me out. And the thing is that it hits you. It's like it hits you all at once.
Right.
So that 100 milligrams feels like 500 milligrams. So, you definitely want to dose that.
That's why I like to do it in a smoothie, because it gives you some substance in your stomach too, to kind of hold
on to and
exactly.
titrate it.
It's more of like a time release as opposed to like an all at once kind of smack you thing. Because when I'm trying to flex or whatever, I'll chug one. I'm going home after that, but I will chug one and I'll get home safely
before it sets in too quickly. You know what I mean?
I flew there, but whatever.
That's a good way. I've never actually thought about trying to incorporate like edibles into. Like a meal like that, if you're having a smoothie, a time release. It's a good way to think about it.
sorry to keep going back to the drink loud, but I'm just very passionate about these. The strawberry lemonade, if you put it in a vinaigrette, like a strawberry vinaigrette, it's an amazing salad dressing.
Damn.
Very good.
It's so great. And with
Weed
greens,
and everything.
for me, like I said, I'm sensitive to caffeine, so I do like a handful of spinach for energy, for natural energy.
Right.
And I can do like a handful of spinach in my smoothie with my drink loud,
That's
know?
fun. There you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting my greens
Or
on both
salad
sides.
or whatever.
There you go. I love it. That's awesome.
All the greens.
Oh yeah. So I think this is ready. Let's start with you, Chris. I'm gonna pretend like I know how to use this device.
Chris has got
DJ's
this.
usually the guy.
I'm the hype man, so I'm over
That's
here
cool.
like,
We
Chris
need one
got
of those
it.
too. So let's
You
see. We got this here. Now I believe it's a 1, 2.
All right.
Beep, beep, beep.
I think that's what it does.
You'll see
1,
the
2.
smoke, I'm sure, start coming up the top maybe too. Oh, maybe you just push it?
I swear I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional, guys. I've smoked out of this device. We got my boy Nick here coming in clutch.
Our guy, Nick. What up,
Thanks, Nick. Make sure you tap and follow my boy Black Nick Photos on the gram here.
I just followed him myself this year. Great decision. Best decision I've ever made.
Hell yeah.
You start pulling, you'll see the smoke, and then you can move this around too.
Awesome.
Do you
Thanks.
pull it to cap it, or is there a carb on it?
Yeah, the carb right here, but you just direction.
I think you can
Okay.
like just pull. Yeah, exactly. You direct the airflow.
Okay, I like this. I like the way this works.
Hey, shout out to G Pen. They blessed us on their podcast. They debuted this, and we've used it on several episodes since then. This thing is a
A beast.
Tank.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really good flavor to it.
Does it? Wow. And that's the diamonds?
Yep. We
Yay.
just did the Dosey Woe, so we're looking at 84.2% THC. Let's look at our terpenes here. On our Badio caryophyllene, we have 3 milligrams per grams. We got 4 milligrams per grams of our myrcene and 3.86 of linalool. That's my favorite
Nice.
terpene. I'm a linalool fool myself.
Yep.
Anything
Love
with
linalool,
linalool. Like,
love myrcene.
yep. This is going to be a nice stony baloney one.
My favorite trifecta is terpinolene, osamine, and myrcene with linalool in the background.
That's
somewhere.
definitely a little. You definitely
Love it.
you see terpene a lot, but osamine's kind of more of that boutique, a little more exotic, and I feel like seeing a blend of both of them because osamine's kind of more that, for lack of a better explanation, kind of like almost mentholy. It's like cooling kind of effect. So
I say awesomine is awesome because it makes me feel awesome. Like I like the way it makes me feel.
hell yeah, yeah. I don't know how osmine. I know I've smoked osmine several times, but I don't know like definitively. Like I know what linalool does for me.
There
I know I
was a
try to avoid
strain.
pinene and the things like that, but.
There was a strain out here that was high in it for a minute, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but I just can't. It was so great. I wish I could still remember what it was, but
100%.
it's one of those things when it's discontinued, you're like, what the heck?
That was a pretty sizable dab.
There you go.
These diamonds, shout out to Rove Diamonds, that was one big rock
He
in
gave
this
you
thing.
one
I did
big
not
rock.
cherry pick this at all. I was like, damn, look at this guy. Actually, here, let me so I can load this up.
I was gonna say, do you even need to reload it, or can it keep going?
No, yeah, I cleared it.
I know, like the Puffco, you can like keep going, you know. So
Yeah.
I think some of the G pens you can do the same.
I think Puffcos do a great job of that, where you can kind of like
Keep going.
milk your extracts a little bit longer. For the G pen here, compared to some other similar with the titanium nails, you get all your extract, which I like that too.
Right. I love that.
So let's get back to talking about Rove. When did Rove first come together, and how did we land on the name?
So
I don't know about the name. You
yes,
gotta
for-
let us know, Chris.
as far as name, like Rove means to wander.
I do
so,
remember that.
As far as where you consume, how you consume, it felt fitting for the brand. As far as Rove.
Kind of fits that whole "where do you rove?" That's kind of your MO, right?
Exactly.
Not all who rove are lost.
There you go. Okay.
Exactly.
Hell yeah, we
Man,
further it.
That's my next tattoo.
That's so
There you
good.
go. That's awesome.
I said I was gonna get a Rove tattoo. I already got the Drink Loud logo tattooed on my leg, but the Rove tattoo is next. I have the Drink Loud logo tattooed on my leg.
I have seen that one.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Sorry, go ahead. We started in 2017.
Yes.
Yes.
We were started here in Nevada in 2017.
In Nevada, but you guys were in Cali before that, right?
But we were in California
Okay.
for a few years before then.
Should
Yeah,
be right.
and-
There we go.
You get that taste, Mo, right away. It's so good. So terpy.
I loaded up with another fat one too. Again, these diamonds. This is honestly is the catch-22. I love diamonds. You like
Yep.
seeing a big rock. Sometimes the dab just chooses you.
Yep.
That's how I feel about it. It's like, okay, cool, because I'll get diamonds. I'm like, man, did I really go through that whole thing in a day?
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah.
You know, and with these diamonds, really, we opted for a bigger facet. You know, and sometimes we get a bigger facet where you have to break it down.
Right.
And really, we contemplated breaking that down for the consumer, but we wanted to leave it intact. We wanted to make sure that it was part of the consumer experience where they could, you know, enjoy the big diamond and then break it apart if they need it.
I think that's the best move for what you're doing because it's in the name, the Rove Diamonds.
Yep.
If you weren't having something that's like, no, that's a diamond, you know what I mean? It's just kind of hurting your brand there.
Yep.
I think it's a good decision. Again, that's why as soon as I opened this up, I'm like, damn, look at this. All right. We're doing big dabs today. But this is the circle for that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like a champ over here, dabbing some mo right here. How's your dosey wo?
It takes forever to clear it. It's a big ass dab.
We just split that half gram between us. So.
That's pretty much kind of how I broke it up. I was like, all right, we're going to take this half gram, break it up 3 ways, or I'll get a size with that. I think you can clear the chamber. Now that it's white, I think it's probably done heating it. There we go.
Beautiful.
Shout out to the Rove Diamonds here. Also, I got to give a quick shout out here to you guys' branding and your packaging. You guys have always had a really consistent. It's always really sleek. It really stands out. And seeing that on the diamonds too. As soon as I was looking at this, I'm like, I don't actually know if I've opened one of these firsthand like this before, but oh, look.
Easy.
And I like even the way you have this in here. Nice little cushion. It's all reflective. Reminds me of my Pokemon cards back in the day. You know what I mean? Your wax ain't going anywhere. You know? I like it.
Got to make sure we keep up with the times. Really, that's Phil Hahn. You know, he's one of the founders of Rove, and he's the one developing those, designing those, and really always evolving them as well.
Hell yeah. It's consistent. Like again, on all the SKUs I'm seeing here, like I see a consistency, but it's always. There's no shortage of quality, you know what I mean? Even down to like the stickers and your QR codes and everything that's on here, it just really stands out. And I think you guys have always done an exceptional job with that.
I appreciate that.
Coming from cosmetics, I also was obsessed with the packaging.
Right.
Like, because in cosmetology, you're always looking at the packaging.
Yep.
And a lot of this packaging is very similar, to be honest. Like,
Absolutely.
you know, that could easily be a little Carmex. That could be a lip balm. That could be a whatever.
In a competitive market, you know, like especially if it's saturated, it's important to be able to stand out with something like packaging for one, but then also being able to stand out with the compliance constraints such as, you know, childproofing, things like that.
Absolutely.
I'm trying not to blow this right in your face.
Oh, please do.
You're
good.
So I'm game. Let's go, right?
Sorry.
Well, speaking of some compliance issues, what have been some hurdles you guys have had to overcome? Obviously, we're saying, you know, an OG here. What some ones that have stood out to you as far as compliance or just maybe the cannabis industry as a whole?
You know, there's a few examples. Like one that I like to talk about is when Metric was being integrated. Everyone hates Metric, so I like to talk about that. When it was being integrated in December of 2017 here in Nevada, you know, that was a hurdle, you know, but if anything, we found that we were able to develop good relationships with that. There was a lot of dispensaries that needed to be on Metric in order for us to ship orders to them. So we would coach them on how to use it, things like that. You know, show them how to do a manifest, how to receive one, things like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big learning curve, especially coming from the brands to like kind of coach the dispensaries. It's got to be a little bit
Those
of a...
manifests were extensive.
Yeah.
They still are. But
that whenever there's evolution in the in the regulations, so certain things will have to change. In Nevada here, the tough one is 1 gram concentrate products. So you know, anything that is 1 gram cannot exceed 80% THC. So you know,
and we like potency.
Absolutely. So if you have a 1 gram cartridge or a 1 gram concentrate jar, that cannot exceed 80%. THC. So that's a challenge, you know, which is also why we've come out with like the XL edition, which is 0.85. So that's with that. If we were to put 8.5 grams into one of those, we can go up to 94% THC without really any issues.
That's awesome. Cool. So how long have you guys been doing the XLs?
Yeah, the XLs, we've been doing them for, I believe, here now well over a year.
I know we just got them on the shelves at NuWu. That's why I was curious how long you guys have been to market with that.
You guys, I think, just got them.
Yeah, we did. We're a little late to the game, but that's cool. I think it's a great product. I think it's a great pivot, especially with what's happening in the market right now. Everyone's looking for a bang for your buck.
Absolutely, because we do have the fulls, right? But the fulls obviously have to be under 80%.
Yeah.
So it's like you could have a full gram, 79%, or you could have a 0.85 gram that's 90%. So Yeah.
Are you guys still producing the fulls? Because I do remember seeing you guys. You had the fulls, and I remember those like with the Pro Packs back in the day. But I do remember the double cut on the terps or something like that because you had to get the THC levels, right?
So just like you guys, you just picked them up. So yeah, as they're gaining traction, we are, more than likely they will be phased out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense. I think, you know what I mean? You don't want to dilute your brand and what you built into it, but obviously you're trying to play ball with compliance. But I think the 0.85 is a nice marriage of the two.
It's a good compromise, absolutely. So, beyond that, also just currently it's challenges is now that we're operating in multi-states is the differences in regulation and then maintaining continuity and then maintaining consistency as well because of those regulations. But I mean, we've been able to achieve it. It's challenging, it's fun, but yeah.
I think I face a lot of challenges in the cannabis industry online. One day, the word Rove brand, it was Rove brand, was a banned hashtag on Instagram.
Oh, what?
My heart, my whole heart. I run all of our socials. So if somebody doesn't like me one day, they could just mess with me by, messing with our socials. Please don't ever, please. Let me not give anybody any ideas. Cut that. I don't want to give anybody any ideas. But yeah, it's not fair online that we cannot advertise the way we want. I can't show a weed leaf. My pants have weed leaves on them. So you're saying I can't, I can't even show my outfit of the day? Okay.
Right.
It's tricky. I face a lot of challenges with getting reported. The other day, a video at PuffCon, holding up a Puffco at PuffCon and our Rove rosin in my hands. It was reported for nudity. And it was taken down off Instagram. And I was like, wait, what? So I got to be able to appeal this. There's got to be a way because this is what? It's just packaging of rosin.
Did they let you appeal it at all? Or?
Nothing.
Wow.
No appeal. So a lot of the challenges I face are online. I do get away with a lot of fun on TikTok. I didn't even think I could do a TikTok. And one of our CEOs was like, just try. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I think you'll figure it out. And I really want us to be thriving on there. And we've been at 30-something thousand followers on TikTok now successfully for a little while. It's our second account because our first one was originally run by somebody else. And then I took it over. And I already had a lot of violations on it. So it was treading very lightly. I literally got away with posting a barrel of weed and somebody scooping it around with their hands. And I put oregano.
Okay. Already ground up, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Right.
Yep. It's in these pre-rolls.
There you go.
Yeah.
And is that what got you shut down?
No.
All right. So
that's what got us booming. Light bulb.
That
was
like
1.3 million views.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it was reported. We appealed it. And they gave it back to us and apologized.
Wow. So shout out to TikTok. We're actually playing ball where Instagram's not, right?
Yeah. You think this is oregano? We're a bulk oregano company. We also do bulk honey. It's in those cartridges.
Yeah. You can find us at a grocery store near you, right?
Yeah. You must be 21 to shop in our department.
That's cool. So what's TikTok? I mean, because that is a big hurdle. And we've talked about this before, too, because I know, running a cannabis brand, I have tried to avoid that because we have digital real estate. We own our handles, so no one else can. But as far as actual posting, that's kind of the thing. I'm like,
I
was waiting to see. I'm like, all right, let's see how some of these other people navigate this because we've always, to comment on what you were saying about getting flagged or having a hater flag your stuff or whatever, par for the course. Definitely in the dispensary space, there's a lot of competition.
Right.
So there's a lot of that happening. So we always try to tread lightly in that regard. That's why I've had that. But I like hearing of the success stories and the people that are thinking outside the box and ways to do that. So shout out to you for making that happen. What have been some strategies that have really worked for you on that platform?
So Instagram is where we say what we are, and TikTok is where we joke about what we're not. So we just play with different, I got a video where a carrot is a joint. I got a video where a giant barrel of honey is distillate in the cartridge,
Right.
What's the other one? The oregano tubs,
right.
It's just playing with fire over there and pretending like it's a crayon. Literally.
Okay.
polar opposite things and just going with it.
That's fun though. I mean, that's an apt way of putting it though too. So you'd be like, okay, this is what I'm not. I promise I'm not.
They know it's Rove.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there's like a guy wearing a Rove shirt and they have gloves on, and they're like, wait,
yeah, right.
Rove honey.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's
and
cool.
It's so fun. And honestly, I troll the comments all the time, and so many people comment stuff like, I wonder how many people have Googled what is Rove brand after this. And I'm like, dude, you're going to be a marketing person when you grow up, little
right?
guy.
Like, that's the right light bulb right there.
Yeah, like, that's it. That's
cool,
those
though.
ideas.
That's another way, again, you got to kind of think of out of the box ideas to engage your community and find your niche. And again, shout out to you for doing that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Let's talk about Rove's loyalty program, Rove Rewards. How did that come about?
So with the Where Do You Rove kind of campaign that comes from, the name, of course, that we learned about from Chris today.
Right.
The Rove Rewards program is definitely for like the adventurer, in my opinion, but that's everybody.
Right.
There's items on there like a foldable bike. There's items on there like canteen water bottles, like just fun kind of things for people that are active or that maybe just want to be active or whatever, the wanderer, the person who's roving,
cool.
And then there's also like our Pro Pack batteries that are on there as well. But what it is essentially is an authentication program. So when you flip your cartridge over, your pre-roll pack over, anything from Rove or Featured Farms, there's going to be a QR code there. You just scan it with your phone and boom, it takes you to a landing page that tells you not only about this product, but it lets you redeem points for this product that you also purchased. So if it's a whole gram cartridge, of course, that's your maximum points that you can really get on something. So that's the easiest way to build up your points really quickly. And then we have stuff like 2 times points on certain holidays and stuff sometimes, we get ready for that, of course, on my end because of marketing. So that's a big part of what I am dealing with this week with the holidays coming up.
Right. That's fun though. I mean, and again, to you guys' credit, like I can't think of another brand that's really doing it like that. I mean, obviously a lot of dispensaries and players like that have loyalty programs, but I just off the top of my head can't think of anyone else who's doing it like that. And really you're just engaging directly with the customer, which is so valuable. So shout out to you guys. That's really awesome.
Really rewards our loyal customers and then also incentivizes really new customers to see what else we have to offer.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And because, again, I just don't see that a lot on the brand side. If you're the consumer, like, cool, if I'm shopping at NuWu and I'm buying Rove, I'm already getting my loyalty points from NuWu, and now I'm getting like double points because I'm buying Rove. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So you're just increasing the value to your consumers.
Yeah.
So
and then not only that, but I think just with one purchase, you're already eligible for redemption. So it's
yeah. That's awesome. I got a lot of QR codes around my house. I'm going to have to go scan now, find out.
Scan them up.
That's cool. So what are you guys' favorite Rove products?
Rosin.
Well, there's, as far as there's some... Generally,
it's the rosin for me. We
talked
about rosin
like,
2 years ago, Chris.
Yeah.
How did this even happen?
I know, it's insane. But I feel like we have, I personally have a favorite in every category.
Okay. but that's cool.
But yeah, right now, like she's saying, it's definitely the rosin for sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's that new heat that's coming down the pipeline. Let's talk about the Rove rosin. What's going on there, guys?
So, currently we have this launched in California only.
Okay.
Yeah, California only. And we're looking to expand that product line to other states where it's feasible to do so. So being that we're not vertically integrated in any of the states that we're currently in, there's a few challenges there, but we're trying to work through them, and surely, slowly but surely, we'll get there. We'll get to market.
We're both remote for all of the states that we're in,
right?
Pretty much. So
how many states is that now?
Okay, so we got Arizona, Oklahoma, California, Michigan, Missouri, Massachusetts, and Nevada.
7 states.
7 states.
Damn, good on you guys.
We're currently working on New York's getting traction for us, so we should be on the shelves.
He's leaking secrets.
Oh, snap. That's cool. We got a little while till this one drops. That's cool, though. New York. I've said this several times on the podcast now. I feel like New York is the scene that I keep just hearing things about, Some good, some bad. But, I do think it's going to be one of those markets. Obviously, when you just think about the United States as a whole, it's like L.A. and New York City, right?
Yep.
So, obviously, L.A. has been synonymous with cannabis for decades now. So, to see a culture develop in New York, I'm just really intrigued. So,
right.
And good on you guys. It sounds like you're further the needle in that regard.
I agree. And I feel like the culture's always been there in New York. It's just that now it's really coming out. Coming from the dark.
It's coming out of the closet right now. It's like, hey, no, I am a smoker. But I mean, because I've heard, again, positives and negatives. I mean, New York is its own like living, breathing thing, and it's in that right. I think the black market is going to be the same way it is in California. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a bit of an uphill battle, but it is a monster we created.
It's expensive over there.
Is it?
Weed's expensive over there, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean everything's expensive, right?
Have you guys been in New York?
I've got family in New York. I've spent a good amount of time in the city, not in the recent past, but yeah.
Not the city. I've been to Buffalo and driven through New York, but not to New York City.
I've never been.
It's crazy. I just that many people living in that small of an area. It has its own energy. Everyone's just really fucking grinding, and I think you really feel that. That's why, like, the joke, like, East Coast versus West Coast. But, like, these West Coast, they always are high. You know what I mean? Come on. Let's go.
Right.
But that's why I'm really curious to see how that cannabis culture evolves. I do anticipate, I mean, if I'm just my best educated guess, of course it's going to be more expensive. It's New York. Everything's expensive in New York.
Everything is expensive.
I remember when I still smoked cigarettes, like, it was, like, literally a 2-to-1 price difference when you were in the city. Like, you could leave the city. You go, like, 10 miles outside of the city, you know what I mean?
Wow.
You get it where it is everywhere else in the country. But, like...
Yep.
Kudos to you for quitting.
Oh, yeah. No, that was an easy one. All I had to do was pop a few lungs,
Yeah, I've collapsed a lung dabbing before, actually.
Have you?
Yeah,
wow. What was that like?
So it was a test product at one point, early medical days. And it was a test product, and it was I remember the strain, it was Loud Dream, and it was a sugar, and I didn't realize there was a shatter that had sugared because there was still a lot of residual butane in the product, and I dabbed it, and I remember feeling my lung just pop, and my crazy self, I was like, no, this can't be it. So I kept dabbing. And then I went to sleep because I was so like exhausted and dabbed out from trying to like figure it out. I woke up in the morning and I was like, I gotta go to the doctor. I called my doctor's office, and she's like, I can get you in at like 11. And I was like, all right. What did I do? I took some more dabs.
Oh man. Ouch.
Yeah. And then I get there, and she's like, you need to go to the hospital. You collapsed the lung. As soon as she listened to my lungs, she knew right away.
Right.
And I had to go to the hospital. And I was in there for a week. And honestly, ever since then, just never any bad products. Only products that have been tested.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't really dab stuff from the street.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't even risk it. But it's great for its medicinal properties. Women have higher tolerances than men naturally. We have higher amounts of pain, though, often, on a monthly basis for some of us.
You don't know me.
He said, you don't know me. He said, I got the highest tolerance.
Yeah, right? It's like, well, I'm putting my tolerance up against anyone. I got this right now, right?
Me and Chris are competitive.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do it. No.
That's funny.
I'm not really that competitive about smoking weed, though, because I feel like it's not meant for that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I always like...
Have you ever had a smoke off? Have you guys done like a smoke off?
I mean, I've always... I love when my friends are like, no, let's smoke some weed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, kid, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I'll start with an infused pre-roll and see where you do after that,
Absolutely.
But you know what I mean? I got a lot of people in my family that aren't like smokers, so when I am, it's like, I just feel bad. You know what I mean? Like, so we had Gabe Lopez. He's the guy who's hosting our Smoke and a Joke Cannabis comedy show on the podcast.
Okay.
Man had never done a dab before.
Wow.
And DJ lights up on that podcast. Like, oh, we're going to get you dabbed out. I'm like, this man, it's 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. This man's got what the fuck are you talking?
11 a.m. on a Tuesday.
And he gave him a dab. And I love hearing Gabe's story about it because he's like, I got home, but it was like this for like 30 minutes till I got to Henderson. I'm like, all right. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those moments where when your tolerance is higher than someone, it's like, again, you don't want to make it a contest. You want to have fun,
Absolutely. Oh,
and to that point, I totally agree. But have I smoked competitively? I mean,
cheers.
Sure. Yeah, cheers, guys.
We've all done a few stunt dabs in our day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm putting on a clinic today,
I don't know if I would do it again after all that,
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. I mean, okay, again, having dealt with those issues, I just can't imagine like being induced by cannabis. Like that sounds like stuff from nightmares. Because,
dude, I ate edibles in the hospital for a week. What do you mean? Like, it was a great time. I took a week off work. It was the only week I've ever taken off work.
She said it was a great time.
I've never taken a week off. It was the only week I've ever taken off, and I was in the hospital.
I'm trying to pop a lung again. I need a vacay.
Honestly, we could keep dabbing. No, I'm just kidding.
We can. It's ready to rock.
I just don't push it, you know what I mean, after that. Like I said, I just keep it to safe products only. That was definitely not a tested yet product. And after it came back, it didn't pass. Man. So, like, it was not okay, you know? Yeah,
I've seen some gross homemade extracts, and I've admittedly dabbed some of it, but I just can't imagine.
Don't, bro. Honestly, homie to homie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, homie to homie.
Past that.
Just don't.
Thanks, white industry. I'm glad, the white market exists now, and it's keeping me fed. I don't need to support the black market industry anymore. And no offense to any of you guys out there still grinding. Do you?
Yeah, right. And I rock in that gray area sometimes.
I get it. It's still, and again, we made it, so you can't really, like,
it's
you
our
can't be mad.
culture,
It's exactly. You've been doing this for decades. You expect it to just disappear overnight because it's in a dispensary. It's just not how it works.
It's not going to work that way.
Well, to that point, what have been some harder aspects that you guys have experienced of scaling this business? We've already talked a lot, you know what I mean? In 5-6 years, you guys have grown a lot, but what have been some of the harder things you've had to overcome?
Man, I think the hard part for me is... There's not a lot of it that's hard. Honestly, I love the cannabis industry. Like I said, there's just, the social challenges, but like, if that's what I have to complain about, like, oh, that's third world problems right there. You know what I mean? Like, what is that?
That's a good way to look at it,
And I think it's, again, I adjusted from a different kind of lifestyle being a makeup artist and then doing this because this is just way more chill.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, you still grind, but just a totally different way.
Right.
You grind like this.
Yep. Keep the bowls filled.
Yeah. With scaling also as a company, the challenges have been, like kind of stated earlier, was like compliance differences,
right.
Regulation differences, dealing with different entities, and really scaling up. Not only that, but then also just maintaining a presence, really, like in an ever-evolving market. That's the one thing that is constant is the change in the market.
Absolutely.
I always say that this industry evolves about every 3 to 6 months. It's like a new animal.
True. No, absolutely.
The fastest growing industry.
Just being able to keep up with that and being able to launch products fast enough to be able to keep up with that demand and
stay relevant, and keep rocking.
Absolutely.
Good on you guys. I think I got nothing but confidence in you. Again, I've been Team Rove for a while, so again,
thanks.
That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see. And to that point, where do you guys see the market changing over the next couple years? What do you see changing in the market right now?
Really, we're looking at the market at a national level right now. We've always worked towards a more national production and really distribution mentality. We've always really adopted that, and we've always worked towards if and when legalization happens nationwide, what it would look like, whether it's regional, national, state by state, things like that. We're ready for something like that. We're always preparing for something like that as well.
Absolutely. Especially if you guys are in 7 states, you kind of got to be thinking,
big.
Like, this can't keep up like this, you know what I mean? I think that's been the most common reoccurrence I've heard on the podcast is, like, with federal legalization, how much longer do we keep this up, Like, we just said on a recent one that, like, if you are in a state that still has criminalized cannabis, you are a minority. And have been for a little while, which is kind of a mindfuck to me, But, like... So at what point do we budge on this, Yeah,
a good example is I was just routing a route from New York City to upstate New York, for a cannabis delivery. And you would cross, I think it was 3 states or 2 states if you did the fastest route.
Okay.
But the thing is
funny.
You have to stay within state. So, a 3-hour drive takes a 6-hour drive. Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's insane.
Really?
But yeah, especially,
I mean, that's how it worked.
When you think about just the East Coast and how small these states are and the way that the highways and everything's been set up, they weren't thinking about cannabis going legal in 2020, Like, that's, I don't know. That's crazy, though, because I've been on those highways, and that would be just, man.
Yeah.
that's such an insane thing to think about. Like, cool, gas prices be damned, right?
Federal legalization definitely makes me think, like, only the strongest will survive, you know? Like, it's it's a big pond,
Yep.
but it's a lot of fish, you
Yep.
know?
100%. I'm really curious to see, if and when that rolls out, how it's going to go about, because
Yeah.
everyone I've talked to, it just raises a lot of questions. But
If you could get bomb weed from California, why would you get weed from the desert is my biggest fear,
Yeah.
And not just that, right? But the abundance, but like the supply versus the demand. Like California can supply the region,
the whole region.
the whole region.
Yeah, it's already been supplying the world for a few decades, right?
Right. It's already supplying the region.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely raises a lot of questions. I'm curious how it's going to pan out, but you know what I mean? I'm confident we're all going to be here weathering the storm one way or another, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome, though. So what is coming down the pipeline? We were talking a little bit about some Rove rosin and some Drink Loud, but like let the people watch. Sorry, that fucking hit just stuck with me there. What you guys are working on?
We kind of always have something up our sleeve as far as, what we have in the pipeline currently. It would be our ice packs and also an evolution into our vape line. So, in the near future, there'll be a little evolution as far as our hardware and what we'll be offering as well. And then also something like, it's called the Rove Ice Packs. So it's a 5-pack pre-roll that are infused with, we got keef, what else do we have in there? Diamonds, rosin infused.
Damn.
Yeah, kind of
all in one.
all in one, dressing them up.
That's cool.
Nice. They'll be half grams, crowned.
Damn. Yeah. That's going to be a killer market. I do think the infused pre-roll market's one that's evolving. But yeah, if you do it in a pack like that too, that's going to be exceptional.
Absolutely. We've had success with the featured form pre-rolls, so now we want to do something with the Rove Premier line. And we feel it's a great fit.
That's cool.
That's a great fit for that Rove Premier line.
Is that going to be something that's, I'm assuming, would be in Cali if you guys are already integrated with rosin and everything out there? Is that something you guys are trying to
That's something that's up and coming currently.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's
we're
cool.
currently in production, and we'll be launching near Q1, if not at the end of Q4.
Cool.
2022.
Man, that's really exciting. So I'm sure by the time this is out,
2023.
I know, right around the corner, right?
Dang, I can't even believe it.
Honestly, by the time this episode's out, it might already be 2023. They're like, what the hell
Happy
are they talking about? Those are already on the shelves, dog.
Right.
But either way, it's going to be exciting. So make sure you guys check out the Rove. You said ice packs?
Ice packs, yeah.
Ice packs. That's cool. Can't wait to try one, man. It sounds like a killer product.
Oh yeah.
I got you.
Hell yeah. I'll be. I'm sure I'm going to see Mo in the new lounge here. You know what I mean?
Of course, it's not like me to stay away from you guys so long.
Well, speaking of, you are a judge for our NuWu Cup.
Oh my gosh, I already know my winners. I already know all my winners.
See,
I have
industry
notes
OG.
in my phone right now, in
Do
my
you?
fanny pack. Yeah.
How's the experience been so far for you?
Great. It's been amazing. Honestly, picking up the bag was super fun because it was like what's in it, you know? Like it was so fun because everything's just not labeled. It's like it's labeled with little labels that have the just numbers on them.
Yep.
So like the pre-rolls, P1, P6, P3, whatever, different numbers on them. And that's how you vote, essentially, of course. And then it's 3 categories. It's, what is it? Flavor? Help me out, Tom.
Yeah, smell, taste, and effect.
Yes, smell, taste, and effect. There we go. Great, because a lot of them, if you like it, you love it. And mine, honestly, if it was smell, it was also taste and effect. Because, that was the one that should win to me.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's usually synonymous. We set it up that way so that you can get granular if you want to.
Right.
But a lot of judges do no, it was P05. That was the favorite pre-roll or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was my favorite. If that's my favorite, that's my favorite.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you're having a good time with it.
I love it.
Really can't wait to further what we're doing with NuWu Cup. And once we're in our new facility, we can really bring the event back. You were here for the first one. We can't wait to do it bigger and better and in our new home.
I've been here for all of them. It's been great. Yeah, the first one was so much fun too.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
It was a whole vibe. I can't wait. We'll get out of here, little buddy. So, what are some words of wisdom you guys would give the next generation of cannabis entrepreneurs, people out here on this grind? What would you guys tell them?
I would say embrace change. Be tenacious. Just don't give up. Essentially, don't give up. What I mean by that is just
keep going.
Yeah, just keep going. There's a lot of things, a lot of hurdles that you're gonna have to come through, and you're gonna have to embrace that if you're gonna succeed.
Hell yeah.
I would just have to agree. Honestly, I was gonna just say keep going, and Chris kind of finished with that. Just don't don't give up. If you want to get to the top, you will. You just got to keep going. If you slow down, that's not going to get you where you want to go. If you speed it up, though, you know, but in a calm and approachable manner,
absolutely,
you'll get there, you know. And I think it's useful to be able to pivot when you can, pivot when you need to, and just go with it, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wise words from both you guys. It's awesome.
Absolutely. From
industry vets and OGs. This has been a fun episode. Let the people watching at home know where they can find you, your socials, where they can find Rove. Let them know.
So I do all the Instagrams for Rove as well, and our TikToks. So on TikTok, Rove is going to be at Rove Brands. And then we have a backup page, of course, and that's going to be at Rove Gang. And then we have our Drink Loud at Drink Loud. And then on Instagram, that would be at drink.loud, at Rove Brand for Rove Brand, of course. At Featured Farms is where you'll find all of our Featured Farms products. I know we didn't really dive into those, but that's one of my favorite lines from Rove as well, that is available out here in Nevada. Featured Farms does have our infused pre-rolls and then our live and cured resins. So definitely some of my faves. And then we have my Instagram would be at dabsamo, at DAB_SUM_MOE. No period at the end. Oh, wait, is there? I have no idea. Yes, there is.
Yeah, no period at the end, right? I don't know.
I never write it out.
I gotta check, you know?
I usually just type at dab, and then it comes up.
So that's me. That's right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And what about you, Chris?
Yeah, no, just rovebrand.com.
Yeah.
There you go.
rovebrand.com.
rovebrand.com.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, we didn't dive into this rosin. Maybe we got to go up to the dab bar and try this.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm down.
I got us a little sneak peek of some rosin. I can't wait. But this has been. I'm excited to try it. I'm literally, even though I got all this weed in front of me that we've been smoking, I feel like I'm good and high. Always room for more.
Always room for more.
Right on, guys. Well, thanks again for being on the podcast. We can't wait to have you back on. Let's do a dab about it, shall we?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having us.
Awesome. Hey, thanks again, guys. This has been the NuWu Sessions Podcast. We out. Hell yeah, guys. It's been a great episode.
That was so fun.
Let's get smoked.
Yeah, of course. We talked about them enough.
Plug everything accordingly. Can you guys believe people watch our podcast? This is ridiculous, dude. We're just making stuff up and call. Oh, is this on? Hey, what's up? NuWu Sessions. Hit the subscribe button today. And the bell. All the stuff. Watch it. Like it. Subscribe. Let's go.